exciting show. I think you're going to really enjoy it. And just to remind you that I will be offering drawings for everybody here after the event. And if you want to come down to my booth, 1537, it is the Animation Alley there, 1537. I will be there right after this event to give you your free drawing. And yes, you're welcome. Thank you. And check out my new DVD. I have a brand new DVD called Dogs and Cows. And do we have any lawyers from Fox here? I did a couple of couch gags for Fox. And legally I'm not supposed to show those pieces. But Matt said it was cool, so I put it on the DVD. So if you get the DVD, you can see the couch gags I did for Fox Studios. But I want to start off with something a little bit different. This is a little short film I did last year. Actually, no, this year in December, or in January. It's called Drunker Than a Skunk. And it is it's a cowboy poem written by Walt Curtis. Walt Curtis is a Portland poet, and he wrote Gus Van Sant's first film, Mala Noche, was a story about Walt Curtis's life. That's his claim to fame. But I've been friends with him for a long time, and I love this poem. And so I asked him if I could illustrate the poem and make an animated film out of it. So Pam, whenever you're ready, let's look at Drunker Than a Skunk. Thank you very much. All right. I just want to show that as a little aside, but we're really here to talk about Cheatin, the new feature film that I'm just about finished with. We just have to do a little bit of music and the final coloring bits, and it's all done. Hopefully we'll be done in 2 weeks, so we're very excited about that. But I want to talk about how we finance the film, because for a lot of filmmakers, that's the toughest part, is getting the money, is getting the money for their film. And that's why I turned to Kickstarter. And I had done Kickstarter before. Back, I think 3 years ago, I wanted to raise money for a film I was doing on restoration of a Winsor McCay film called The Flying House, which I showed here, I think, last year. And I'd never heard about Kickstarter before, but friends told me it's a good way to raise money. So we tried to get, I think, $15,000. And we ended up getting $20,000. So it was really, really helpful to the financing of the film, The Flying House. So we decided, actually we didn't decide, I ran out of money doing the Cheatin. It was a very expensive film. The coloring was quite intensive. We had to hire a bunch of people to do the coloring. It was very slow, very tedious. So I ran out of money about halfway through. And that wonderful gentleman that introduced me, James Hancock, has become one of the producers of the film. Has been helping me a lot in terms of accessing money for the film and getting the word out on the film. Actually, maybe James, you can talk about it later at the end about how we try to spread the word. We don't have the kind of money that Hollywood has, so we're going to the internet to try and let people know about Cheatin. But in any case, I think it was about November we decided to start a Kickstarter campaign. I'd like to ask, anybody here get involved with my Kickstarter campaign? Show of hands. Oh man, that's great. That's great. Let's give them a big hand. Stupidly, when I was starting out in the film business, I would go to Hollywood and show my storyboards and try to sell my films to the big studios. And of course, they laughed me out of the building for a number of reasons. One, it was hand-drawn, which is not popular right now. And number two, it was not for children. And number three, I was a tiny studio. I don't have a big track record of great feature films behind me that had wonderful distribution. So they really didn't take me seriously, and I realized that that was a waste of time to do the dog and pony show in front of the executives. So when Kickstarter came out, I thought, well, this is the great alternative to doing the Hollywood Shuffle. So we decided to go from December to the end of January. Now we knew that December was a bad month simply because it's Christmas time and everyone's spending money on gifts, and we understand that. So that's why we extended it to the end of January. And we put the goal at $75,000, which was, we thought was reachable. We weren't sure, but thanks to James and another guy named Adam Rakoff, we were able to spread the word about the film and get people excited about it. Now Pam is going to show you the trailer that we put together, or I'm sorry, the promotional documentary we put together to the Kickstarter people. So Pam, when you're ready? Thank you. Come up here, because you know more about this process than I do. I just know that it was really an eye-opener for me to see how Kickstarter not only brought in money, but brought in excitement to the film. In fact, that's how I met James, was through the Kickstarter campaign for The Flying House. So it's a great way to spread the word and connect with people and get people to feel like they're part of the creative process. They're part of the making of the film. They're in fact producers, literally producers of the film. So I'm going to have James talk a little bit more about the details of the Kickstarter campaign, how we spread the awareness of the project and how we got people excited about it.
I'll speak on it briefly. This is the Bill Plympton show, but one thing I love about Kickstarter is that it serves two purposes. Obviously it raises money, but also it serves as an incredible marketing campaign because people become personally invested in the project, and they take a sense of ownership and pride in the project, and they're more eager to share with friends and family or go online. So I couldn't be more of an advocate for the whole process, and I'm sure a lot of you out there have probably played around the Indiegogo and Kickstarter and probably have a lot of the same feelings about it that I do. But we don't even use a traditional website. Up until now, it's been our main hub for all our production diaries, our web blogs, and now we're kind of shifting out of Kickstarter and going into more like using Vimeo as our main hub. But it'd be interesting to hear what y'all have to say about how websites can serve your projects versus using social networking sites, which is how we've kind of let the project evolve. But after this, we're going to go live with our trailer online, and anyone who follows Bill on Twitter @Plympton and retweets the trailer, it'll be live about 10 minutes after this panel. Come by the booth, and Bill's going to be handing out frames of film from his past work as a reward for anyone who kind of gets on the team and helps share the trailer online. So you'll be seeing that shortly. I'm going to pass it back to Bill because I'm sure y'all would much rather hear him speak. So here he is.
Thank you, James. Thank you. Now this is we have a real 35mm film clip. This is going out of the circulation now, and so you get a real film clip from, I think this is Guard Dog actually. And if you do retweet the trailer and to help spread the word, just come by our booth at 1537, and we'll get that to you. Also, definitely check out, we have artwork from Cheatin. First time I've ever brought artwork here in terms of lithographs. We made a bunch of color prints from the scenes from the film. They're just gorgeous. They're so beautiful. I think you'll fall in love with them. They're really neat. So definitely come by and check that out. Now I want to show a couple clips from the film, but I have to set it up a little bit so you understand what you're watching. The first clip we're going to see is about Ella. Now Ella is the heroine of the film. She's the star of the film. And she's the one that was talking in that trailer. And so she's been very, how should I say, isolated. She's into arts and culture, and she's not really into romance. But she meets this guy, Jake, who's kind of a Marlon Brando kind of guy, kind of rough and crude, and was very macho and very sexy. And so she falls in love with him. So this sequence we're going to see next is her fantasy of letting her heart grow, letting her heart take charge of her life, basically. And this is where she discovers her heart. So Pam, are you ready to show the next clip? Thank you. I neglected to tell you the result of our Kickstarter campaign. We did pretty well through December, but we were very far from our goal. And in January, near the end of January, we're pretty close. And then all of a sudden, I think the last week, I don't know what it is. We had some guest Twitters. We had Patton Oswalt and John Leguizamo and a bunch of people, started pushing the project. And we asked for 75, and we got over $100,000. And it blew my mind because that day when we hit 100,000, I was out in LA actually for the Annie Awards. You probably all know the Annie Awards are the Oscars of animation. And that's all people wanted to talk about was, hey Bill, I heard you got 100,000 on your Kickstarter. How did you do it? And people in Hollywood are so frustrated about getting their projects funded, getting their projects in production, that they're getting tired of doing the suit thing. And I think this is a wonderful alternative. It's really changing all the rules in terms of how you fund your project. And it's such a breath of fresh air to have that freedom to control your project, to bring it to its completion. And it's given me so much more excitement about making my films. I don't have to, show these storyboards around and try to pitch sessions, and it's really degrading. It's very frustrating. It's hard to hear no all the time. It really, as an artist, it really kills your spirit, kills your artistic spirit to hear no all the time. And with Kickstarter, all you're hearing is yes, and it's just such a great feeling. So if you have any questions, I'll be down at my booth. I'll tell you all you need to know about Kickstarter. But actually, James probably knows more about Kickstarter than I do, so he'll be there too, won't you? The last clip we're going to do, we have 2 more clips to go. We're going to end with the trailer, which is coming out now, right? This afternoon?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the new trailer has just been finished and it's coming out, so we'll end with that. I want to show another clip. This is after they've met. As you can see, they got together, they got married. Outsiders are jealous of their love because they're such a beautiful couple. And so they try to shake up their marriage and try to make them separate. And so they plant this fake photograph of Ella having a gangbang with a bunch of naked guys. And so you have to see the movie. I think this sequence, you will see the photograph that Jake sees, and then we call this sequence a suicide run. And this is where he tries to kill himself. So Pam, are you ready with the next sequence? Here we go, suicide run. And the music for the last one was done by Nicole Renaud. She's fantastic.